WiLDCaT chat. Show it, YeNDoR'S 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 WiLDCaT chat. Show it, Rod and Lee on the microphone.
Yes, yes, yes. What is going on, folks? Happy end of the new year of 2023. Hope everybody had a great holiday season. I'm your host, YeNDoR Nostinamde, otherwise known as Rod Edmondson. And we are a Tapped High class reunion broadcast. How you like that, Chris? I have Chris Walter of the Hypnotex on board with us again today.
Also known as Hypnoman.
Hypnoman. I'm just hanging out in my bedroom, and this is how I do my room.
That it looks.
What? You can see it?
I mean, it's.
What does it say on my pillow? I'm not sure what. Well, how you doing, Chris? I know I contacted you earlier. You're nursing a migraine a little bit, but I'm glad you made it.
Out a little late last night. We had a nice saucy show in downtown Seattle at the Central Saloon.
Oh.
We were opening for a metal show, so it was all metal bands, and I'm old, so super loud and fun. It's worth it. It's well worth it. So.
When did you go on? Did you go on?
We opened because I mean we're like psychobilly, so
yeah.
You know, they all come to see the metal bands, and one of them's a really big, well-known band around here, so everyone was coming to see them. So we opened for them. And,
oh, that's great, man. Yeah, it'd be kind of odd to have someone like hitting it hard and then you slow it down. Well, you hit it pretty hard though, right?
We play hard, but we're not as loud and distorted as the metal band. Like you're not gonna headbang with my stuff. So it's fun.
Well, it's kind of rockabilly. So, I mean, do you have people like dancing, like old school dancing? They're not like moshing, mosh pit dancing?
They do like last night, there were people like square dance looking people. They're like dosing and stuff, you know? So,
I was wondering, because, you think of like the Stray Cats, you think of that type of swing music, like, kind of like square dancing. I don't think it's called square dancing, but
basically the same stuff, just sped up and a little more distortion. And I don't know. Usually people just kind of jump around when we're playing. They don't really have dance. They just they're bouncy. People have. Yeah, but it was a good show. We played. So the Central Saloon, I didn't know this walking into it, but it was actually the birthplace of grunge music.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was a huge traffic jam getting into Seattle. So by the time we got there, it was like, okay, get in, set up, sound check, do your set. And then once I got off, I started noticing all the flyers on the wall and stuff from days gone by. And there was like Mother Love Bone and Alice in Chains. And so I looked it up, and it's kind of like, I feel like I made it, because I played on the same stage as Alice in Chains.
Oh, that's crazy. And what was the name of the place?
The Central Saloon.
Central Saloon. Wow.
It was actually Nirvana played the first Seattle show Nirvana had was on that stage, and
I have some random info on Nirvana that I was just listening to yesterday. Did you know that Kurt Cobain tried out to be a bass guitarist of Soundgarden?
Oh yeah,
yeah. I was like, really?
I know that.
I'm glad he didn't get the job.
Yeah, that's great.
Here's Chris and his youngin. How's your boy doing, by the way?
He's good. They're both in the band. The one in the middle does the hypno, the actual tech part. He plays the lead video projector, and he runs through the videos and puts on the different costumes. We have monster costumes and stuff during the shows, and he does that stuff. And then my other boy is on the far right, and he's the upright bass player.
Gotcha. So 2 boys, right?
I have a girl too, but my daughter's too young to join the band. She won't join she doesn't like this kind of stuff.
She's I love you, pops, but not so much.
Right.
What is she into?
She's really been into musicals lately because she's in choir, so she listens to a lot of musicals mostly, but if it's like regular, it's like pop music, not Taylor Swift. I don't really know the bands she listens to, but it's that kind of,
I gotta tell you, folks, if you're diehard Taylor Swift fans, my apologies, but my sister's really into Taylor Swift, and I can't even tell you one song that she sings. I'm
not
out of
at
the
all.
loop. Is it because we're getting older? Is that what it is? Maybe. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I think once you hit a certain point, you kind of stick with what you grew up with.
Yeah.
And, you know,
I'm still caught up in the 90s, I think. I don't
yeah,
think I'll ever let go. I think it's what maybe keeps you young, you know what I mean?
right.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
My Spotify and Pandora is all stuff from like 40 years ago. There's nothing new on there.
Here's a couple other shots of Chris jamming with his boys.
That's us.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's great. Here's another shot of Chris. What?
With the White Falcon.
What is that in your glasses? Are those that little ball
The-
down there?
yeah, those are googly eye glasses. That's what
Oh,
started the whole thing. I was looking for something like some kind of a thing. Like what's our thing? We don't just want to be on stage playing music. We need something.
yeah.
And my one kid was in that Sylvan tutoring thing, the after school Sylvan tutor program thing. And if they did a good job, it was like in the dentist's office, you get to pick a toy out of the chest thing. And he picked out these googly eye glasses, and I was
Yeah.
like, that's it. We're going
That's
to
it.
all wear those googly eye glasses. But then it kind of evolved into those swirly hypnotic glasses from there.
I have a pair and I left them upstairs. But yeah, I'm on board. It's hard to see out of those things.
Yeah, it's so hard. It's nice in some ways. Like on stage, I can't see anything, and I don't really have. I can look around like I can see, but I don't really
They
have
really
the
can't.
distractions of people in front of me doing this and whatnot.
That kind of works for and against you, I guess. I mean, I guess you'd want to kind of see who's, you know what I mean, but it's kind of hard to lose focus on what you're doing.
Yeah,
Like get distracted over here. I can't see how you do it. Play guitar and sing at the same time. I tried.
And I play drums too.
And drums. Oh, it's crazy. Do you do the whole drum and playing at all anymore, or you?
Oh,
yeah.
That's how we do it. The Hypnotex is all I play. It's a foot drum. It's a full drum kit at
So you do it at the shows too. Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I play the drum and the guitar and sing. I got many offers for an actual drummer, but I like that gimmick of just the foot drum. It's unique. It's
People you should go to the Venice Beach and do what Harry Mack was doing whenever he would. Hey, I don't know don't know if you know who he is. He's a rapper who does give me three hardest words. I'm gonna throw it into a rap for you, and he's just like on fire, dude. I have to send you some of his stuff. Cool. But he first got popular by just walking up and down Venice, and he would just approach like a group of people. Then he would say, "Hey, I want to, I want to rap for you guys today." And at first, they're like, "What?" But yeah, he's amazing. I can see you hanging out at the beach, jamming for people. That'd be kind of cool.
I could do it. Maybe.
I'll visit you. Here's my Chargers mug. See,
nice.
I have my my Chargers hat over here, but it's too hot to wear it. I was like burning up already. I'm not I gotta tell you folks, I used to be more of a Chargers fan like in 2000, but I couldn't even tell you one member of the Chargers right now. They don't know who I am though, Chris, is the thing. You know what I mean? I don't know if they're like, oh, I know of Rod, you know what I mean? So I don't feel too bad. It's a one-sided relationship.
Right.
Shout out to Shane, not able to make it today, but he gives his love. And there's a lot of people that are busy. Tomorrow's my birthday, Chris.
All right, happy birthday!
Big 5-0. What?
Right. You going out? You doing stuff?
My family was gonna come down to spend some time and spend a couple of days, but my mom is under the weather, so I said, you know what? Just wait until Mama's good, and we'll extend it out.
Yeah.
And the community that we live here in Laguna Hills is very open and friendly, and we're actually having like a community gathering down at the pool, and so we should have a pretty good turnout. We it's funny, it's like we'll go down to the jacuzzi and we call it the hot tub club. And just joking around, but everyone just, you meet somebody, it gets kind of awkward if you're hanging out, taking a bath with someone without like at least talking to them for a little bit, and then you get to know one another, and then pretty soon, become friends. And well, where do you live? And if you don't know Rachel, she's definitely a talker. She preps for conversations.
Yeah.
She's, you know what I mean? And I'm like,
He does homework, takes notes.
Yeah, it takes notes. But those of you that are wondering about her too, she's going to be doing an update on her recovery, and it's been a struggle ever since she's had her surgery months ago. It's she got an infection, then one thing led to another, and she's going through a hard time. So prayers out there for her as well, if you could. Appreciate that. And then also, I just wanted to mention, see if I could find them. We had unfortunately lost Mr. John Banuelos, which is Bobby's dad, these last couple days, and heart and love and prayer goes out to the Banuelos family. Such a sweet dude. I met him. He actually introduced me to Menudo when I went to their house out in Maricopa, and I never tried Menudo. They didn't even tell me like what was in it until after I was done. They're like, "Oh, what's in this, by the way?" You know what I mean? And they're like, "Oh, pig intestines," and like, "What? What'd you do to me?" But yeah, sweet dude. He's actually the closet comedian of the family. Bobby actually does the stand up, and he was doing the circuit there in LA for quite a while, and he went to film school and everything, and hilarious dude. But he picked up a lot of that trait from his dad. So it was funny. I think Bobby was saying that one of his first jokes on stage was from his dad. Actually wrote it, and he said his mom is where his dad's Mexican and his mom is German, and so he's a Beaner Schnitzel. So I thought that was funny. He's a Beaner Schnitzel. Love out there to you, Bob. Hopefully you're doing okay, and we hear from you soon. And also Monique is going to come on in January. So I'm going to try to start doing this more regularly 2024. I'm like turning 50, man. I'm like, I gotta like turn it up a notch, sort of thing. Right. You know what I mean? All the things that I've been kind of procrastinating on, I'm gonna put it in the forefront. That's my goal. Don't without the risk, there's no reward, right?
Right.
And I promise I'll have a different bedroom next time you see me back here. Oh man. Well, yeah, I'm actually thinking about doing a paint. I'm calling it a paint and chat. I don't know if anyone is actually doing this. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. I kind of like do my own thing, like I have an idea. Let's just do this, But I'm thinking about doing like a starting maybe as soon as this next week, paint and chats to where I will paint and chat about it, and if anyone else wants to come on and show their work. Maybe it's not even with painting, it could be with drawing, it could be with any type of art, you know what I mean, for them to kind of share. And I'll do some pointers on painting for them as well. And I've only been painting for I started during the pandemic, so it's been about 4 years, something like that. But I've been able to whip out about probably around 60 projects, something like that since then. And it's my mom is the painter, and I don't think I have anything in the queue actually, but and I never really got into it. I couldn't think of anything to do for Rachel's Christmas gift years ago. And I go, maybe I'll see if I can figure out how to paint something. And it came out like I was a fourth grader trying to learn how to paint at first. But then I started watching all these tutorials, and I was like, oh, that's how you make a lake. Oh, that's how you make tree. You know what I mean? It got to where it was fascinating, and it was very calming for me. And then, after I posted a couple on Facebook, and then, the feedback is inspiring. It's like what you and with your music, you you get a new song out there, and then people like, oh, right, you know what I mean? You start dancing to it. You're like, oh, I gotta keep this thing going. You know what I mean? So see, got to go
That's,
with your calling, what you're gifted at, I guess,
yeah.
huh?
Yeah, my daughter's a painter. She did there's those sip and paint classes, you know, drink wine, paint a thing, but
Yeah.
yeah. So she went to one of those things, and the instructor asked her to come back and be like a guest instructor for a thing.
What?
She's really good.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah,
I did something like that with Rachel and her mom and sister probably like 10 years ago, but it never really took off. It was actually so bad, Chris, and I'll show you what I did at some point. It was so bad that we're supposed to be doing the sunset with the beach, and it wasn't turning out right. I literally flipped it upside down, and it looked better, you
yeah,
know. So I went so I kind of like, I go, wait, it kind of looks better like this.
yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. I didn't sense any magic quite yet when I did that. But you know, I don't know. It's just I always feel like I'm in the middle of always wanting to create something, you know. I was watching actually the Sylvester Stallone documentary thing that he has out. I think it's called Sly.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
he was like, yeah, he's always has to be creating, because he just, you know, he has that itch to scratch. Like he always feels like he's very, very compulsive about it. But it actually, when I'm watching TV with Rachel, I'm actually really kind of antsy. I'm like, okay, when's this over?
yeah.
sort of feel, I don't say that to her, but I was like, okay, a movie, that's a commitment. That's like 2 hours of, you know what I mean? I'm like, can we? I
Yeah.
like listening to comedies shows. By the way, Dave Chappelle's stand up on Netflix comes out today. I'm gonna have to watch that.
Yeah.
But I like to listen and paint at the same time. Then conversation. I love that little triangle. You know, good
Yeah,
times.
it's nice. Did you see the new Mike Birbiglia show that came out not too long ago?
Oh, and
Like,
trying to think who that is. Mike
he's
Birbiglia.
a storyteller. Mike
Yeah.
Birbiglia. He had a couple movies out because he has like a sleepwalking disorder. So he had a movie out about his sleepwalking problem.
Oh, really?
Sleepwalk with me or something. But yeah, he's really good. Check him out, Mike Birbiglia.
I check it out. I
Yeah,
usually
good show. Good. It's a solid show. It's not like a belly laugh all the way through type show, but it's a good show. I dig it.
Yeah. Me and Rachel, she gets kind of compulsive on things, and that's a kind of an understatement. But we ended up getting into watching comedy shows. Probably, I think it must have been 2013 or something like that, about 10 years ago. But we would go literally 6, 7 days out of the week. You know, it wasn't like, hey, do you want to go watch a comedy show? It was more like, okay, which one are we going to go see? You know, who's playing tonight? And we would go, we've gone to like Irvine, the Irvine Improv, to Madhouse in San Diego. We've been to, I mean, there's like 7 of them that we would cycle. And then we would get to know the box office ladies and, people that work there, because we're here back again. And then they found out we were driving all the way from San Clemente to LA, and, and then we would watch a show in a packed house. And yeah, it was, I enjoyed kind of witnessing if this guy have it. I feel like I was a comedian scout or something, I go, that one's gonna make it. Like, I have a good sense of
Right.
of comedy to see if someone has it or not, or else if they're fumbling, or crowd work, storytelling, that type of thing. You could tell if some of it's improv or not, and how they just kind of hold your confidence and the science behind it. You know what I mean? Of like why they're elevated up, like you on stage, right? I mean, that's why you're kind of elevated up a little bit, and
Right.
the lights are a certain way. You know what I mean? They're positioned a certain way, seated, and it's interesting to see on how someone puts their set together. You know what I mean? So, what got you into doing stand up? And have you been doing any at all lately, or no?
I haven't in a while. I hate to say it, I really miss it, but I still write. I write a lot of comedy, but the stand-up scene up here is just a drag. It's no fun.
Really?
Yeah, no one's like with the music scene, everyone's supportive of one another. We help each other get gigs, and it's all, everyone is for the good of helping everyone else succeed. And with comedy up here, it's just every man for himself. And most of the open mics and stuff you go to practice your material, your whole audience is other comics, so none of them's paying attention. They're all writing their own notes, and
Oh, okay. So they
it's just
they don't try to elevate each other.
not at
They're
all.
just like, wow, that must
Yeah,
be
it's
tough.
not.
Wow.
It's not fun. It's sad because it used to be so much fun, and there was a point like on the social, because everyone would communicate on Facebook and whatnot to tell like where the shows are, where so you had to follow along where to go. And it got to be like every day they hated another person for something they said on stage. And when you're open micing, you're working stuff out, you're trying to figure it out, and everyone, it was like, oh, we hate this guy now, and everyone would just kind of jump on board and be like, okay, yeah, we hate that guy. I was just sick of it.
Yeah.
I'm
Wow.
not
That's a shame. Wow.
yeah.
Yeah. I took an improv class. It wasn't like a stand up comedian or type class. It was more just improv, improv games and stuff like that. I took that with Rachel like quite a few years ago, and she took it first because whenever she was into acting, and then they're like, "Oh, come up, come, come and do it with us." I go, "No, I'm good. I'm watching. I'm over here." You know what I mean? And I got to tell you, it was a rush, and it was very. I was very anxious about it because like, oh, you guys are all actors. I'm not used to
Mhm.
it all. And then I got going and kind of understood the concept and what we were doing, I started to have fun with it, and it was kind of cool to kind of think outside of the box.
Yeah.
And whenever you get the support from the group and they get some laughs, it's encouraging. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but because you're up on stage, man, you're very vulnerable situation, and if you're not having the support, it's
Yeah.
not. It's
I tried an
discouraging.
improv group for a minute, but I was acting before. I was doing a lot of musical theater and stuff. And then some friends were like, "Hey, join this improv group with us." And it was like, this is just practice, man. Like we did this before. Do I have to do this anymore? I couldn't get into it. But I got into comedy because I was doing all this theater, but theater wasn't giving my kids health insurance, so I had to get like a different job that could offer that. So I started truck driving, and then I wasn't around to be able to go to rehearsals and stuff for shows. So I started
Yeah.
I started doing stand up because especially when I was doing long haul, I was covering all of North America. Every city I ended up, I could find a place to go, and it was like being on tour. It was a
So
place wherever I went.
so you took drama in high school?
Yeah, yeah.
You did? Who was in your drama class that you would know that hypothetically we get them on to chat about the drama class on
Well,
the
Chris
Wildcat chat?
Wood,
Chris Wood.
yeah, Chris Wood was like the top guy with the drama stuff. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I remember Corey Stoner was in the classes. Um, my girlfriend back then, Amanda Gorsing, she was in it. I don't know what her last name is now, but she was in it.
Makes it hard to find, huh? When they
Actually, we
switch
talk.
the name.
We talk. I have her number and everything. We talk. So
There you go.
yeah,
Awesome.
there's a few people we can get on.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I'll have to reach out to Chris Wood. He was definitely very outspoken,
Yeah, he was
baritone. You
always like
know.
yeah, yeah. He
Ah,
was always really cool to us.
Well, folks, if you are listening and you're part of the WildCat alumni, um, pop in, surprise us. I dare you.
Oh,
Also,
say hello.
tell me more about what's going on with the
Hey,
band wars.
Band Wars. That actually those guys they were in the closing band last night. Crypt Amnesia. That's their band. Check them out. Crypt Amnesia is awesome.
Okay, so they're a part of a band themselves, like
Oh yeah,
those two.
that's
Okay.
how it all kind of came about. Was that they wanted a show that would promote all their friends' bands as
Yeah.
well as their own band. But yeah, they're a great band. They call it what do they call it? Mad science metal. They all dress like monsters, and there's a guy with a mad scientist thing going on. That it's very growly. It's growly music. It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
It must be tough because you're trying to do something like that no one else is doing and be your own, own niche or your own creative,
Yeah.
aspect of the music rather than playing music like with what you have going on. It's definitely unique. It's kind of, I bet it may be hard to get into music and like because there's so much that's out there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
But with us, like, I mean, the psychobilly, rockabilly scene up here, it's dead. I mean, there's if a big rockabilly guy comes into town, everyone will go to it. But as far as just the rockabilly scene out here, we're like the last psychobilly guys out there. But it doesn't really matter if you dig the music or not, if you have a good show. And with us doing the sci-fi thing and the we're aliens from the planet ZR3 and all that. We have to sell that to a new crowd every night. So we have a video screen with playing like comic book type. We're getting comic books.
Well, that's great though. That's great that you're doing that because if you didn't, it'd be kind of hard to kind of lure him in that way, right?
So, yeah.
What is Brian Setzer doing nowadays? The Stray Cats.
He's doing a tour called the Rockabilly Riot.
Yeah.
And, yeah. I believe Slim Jim Phantom, the drummer, he's with it. I don't think Lee Rocker, the bass player, is doing it, but
yeah.
So but with the Brian Setzer orchestra stuff, he was doing a lot of jazz chords and mellowing out, and people were like, "He's lost it. He's not,"
Yeah, he lost his sound.
This Rockabilly Riot stuff, he really throws down.
That's great. Where's he based out of? Do you know much about his?
LA. I mean, he lives in LA. He does shows up.
Yeah, you got to team up with Brian. How can you meet him? How can we arrange this?
What I really like, if you like the Necromantics, they're a cool psychobilly band that the lead singer has an upright bass made out of a baby's coffin, and they're just cool. But yeah, I'd love to open.
Kind of morbid, but we'll go with it.
Get a door opening for those guys would be great. Even Reverend Horton Heat would be awesome, but
So do you listen to a lot of other bands as well as as playing?
Yeah.
But
it depends. If I'm in songwriting mode, I don't listen to other stuff because I don't want to end up copying that stuff.
Yeah, you want to come up with the original.
Yeah.
Is it kind of like when you're feeling like because all throughout the day, I'm sure you don't get to where you're just creative all the time, but I mean. Like when something hits you, like, oh wait, give me a second, I gotta write this down. Like before I leave,
I'll get on my phone and sing it, or I'll hum a melody or something, and I'll be anywhere. I don't,
Yeah, like in the moment, because if you're drifting off to sleep, you're like, oh, I'll remember tomorrow. And then you forget. What was it last night? What was that? I had it.
It's always the best thing too. But I kind of put it in my mind, like if I don't remember it, then it wasn't good enough.
Yeah. I guess that's true too. Chris Cornell of Soundgarden came up with Black Hole Sun on his drive home, and it came up with like the lyrics and the sound, the whole thing. I go, man, that's just a next level creativity that just you already have it in your head. It just like hits you, and you just gotta get it out of your system.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Weird how that can work out too. So I have a couple songs that I just woke up and had the song in my head ready to go. And
right.
there's this other one called Breakfast Face Baby. I've been working on it since 2003. I still don't have it ready yet. I mean, I have all the lyrics, but then musically, I just can't figure it out. So
yeah. I think I'll stick to painting. Stick to painting. But yeah, that's awesome, dude. It's interesting to hear somebody's creativity. I love to see somebody in their element. I don't even really care what it is. It's like when you see somebody performing or with art or whatever it is, stand up. It's awesome whenever you see the magic happening. Whenever they hit a stride. I know, like after they get going or they start getting charged, you kind of see it in the energy of the performer. when they hit stride, then it's on, you know. But then you have like, you know, comics like Dave Chappelle, who's just always green light because he's always been successful. You know what I mean?
He's incredible. I mean, he doesn't even need, he can just go up and riff, you know, he doesn't need actual material for anything.
Yeah, he just starts talking about stuff, and it's just how he puts it out there. It's just
I saw a podcast that he was talking about one time. It was his birthday, and he just wanted to go out and do some stand up. So they found a bar where he could just get up there, and he was up there for 6 hours, just going.
Yeah, it's just amazing
the whole time too.
Yeah, he went after he took that 10-year hiatus and came back. He started to go to parks with a little amplifier, and he would just start doing stand up in a park, and then hundreds of people would flock, and he would have an audience.
Yeah,
like, that's crazy. Yeah, I'm like, oh man, yeah. They were trying to, they call it wearing the dress whenever you're kind of selling out. I don't really look at it that way. When like they say you're selling out to the audience, and whenever you start to have to wear a dress for a laugh, you know. And they were trying to get him to wear a dress, and he goes, "Nah, I'm good." Yeah. He's like, "No, I'm good." But if you think about it, how many, I didn't realize, but I was like, think of how many comedians wore the dress at one point or another, you know, outside of Medea. What's his name? Medea, the main guy. You know, but you have like Robin Williams, Ms. Doubtfire, and then even Kevin Hart did, you know, all kinds of comedians, you know, Eddie Murphy. I think Eddie Murphy. I mean, there's all kinds of, but I wore the dress. You saw me on Halloween, so I don't, you know, I'll wear the dress for a laugh. It's funny, as a lot of people didn't realize it was me for a split second. Like, oh, yeah, I had that Halloween party, and I came out dressed as something else, and then I barbecued the food, you know, got the food ready, and then I went back in, and I transferred into the dress, and I walked around a long way towards the front so they didn't see me coming, and then here I come dressed up like an old lady. I don't think I have it in the queue. Maybe I will show it later on the rerun, but it was funny to see the kids got a kick out of it more than anything, and it was cool to put smiles on their faces. And I had like a little oxygen tank going to my nose, and then I had my pie to think of the posture, and I started researching how old people walk, you know. They're actually, they said you go here, then you elevate your shoulders, and then push down and keep them like this when you're walking. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
So you were stalking retirement homes a week before you.
Yeah, I started hanging out there. I'm hitting 50. Maybe I'll come naturally next time.
Yeah, get there.
So you're staying healthy, staying fit yourself there, Chris? How's it going with
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, not so much today with the headache, but other than that, yeah, I'm healthy. I plateaued with weight loss. I just can't drop that extra 10 pounds, but I'm not gaining, so I'm doing all right.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Well, yeah, I've done the intermittent fasting thing. I think it's been actually 1.5 years now. And I never thought, and I love food, don't get me wrong. And I would love to like wake up and just power eat all day. And I used to do a lot of powerlifting. So I kind of eating was a sport for me, because the more I can eat, the more energy I would have, the more weight I can push. And I got up to like 205 at one point. Believe it or not. Yeah. My little short body got, you know, muscle. Well, the 205 part, more all muscle. I was probably about 190. And then when 205 happened, whenever I was in the hospitals with Rachel, and I just kind of, you know, didn't pay attention to myself and just ate because I was trying to get her to eat, you know. So I was like, have some of this, come on. But yeah, the intermittent fasting thing, have you heard of autophagy? I think I mentioned it to you at one point, right? It's it induces it kills all the bad bacteria and the microbiomes in your gut, and gets you healthy, and you lose weight, but you push the eating until later on in the day. So you kind of like fasting for 18 hours and eating for 6 sort of thing is what I do. But I tell you, whenever you first have that first meal, it tastes so good. I gotta tell you, you're like, oh, why is this? But yeah, it's been I've been able to I feel much better, and also just so you know, I think I'm a little over 80 days sober.
Nice.
And yeah, so no alcohol for me, folks. And thanks to geez, there's so many people that has inspired me. Larry Ramirez, Craig Patton, Jason Hook was on the show, Terry Campbell, all those guys, Shannon Savory Roberts, all gone sober. And I got to tell you, I was drinking too because I was stressed and anxious and thinking like, well, let me have a couple drinks so I'm not stressed and anxious, and it would work for like a half hour. Then I would just get worse than I was before I started. So it was always kind of like one of those looming things, like, and then listening to some stories and situations, and then also finding out that my particular body doesn't have the enzyme that breaks down alcohol very effectively. So my mom's the same way too, and she'll have a Coors Light, and she'll get like flush in the face, red in the face, and nauseous and sick and all that. And but it doesn't break it down as efficiently. So like, wow, then it was just a decision I made. Was like, you know what, I will see what life looks like sober, even though it's a struggle. And I'm like, now I'm like, the further away from it, the more foreign it is, I guess you could say. You know what I mean? So yeah, YeNDoR won't be tanked on his birthday tomorrow. So
That's right. Sobriety's not so bad. I've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah. How long have you been sober for yourself?
Well, I never had a problem. So I would drink once in a while. But probably alcohol would always give me I've always struggled with migraines growing up. And yeah. So, I mean, alcohol just gave me migraines always. So
yeah. So you're like, oh, I'm over it. It's good to be under control of what's in front of you. You know what I mean?
yeah. And I don't really like the feeling of an alcohol an alcohol induced high. I'm not, I love the mushrooms. Don't love the alcohol so much.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, mushrooms more of a therapy thing. People don't realize, but yeah, it's gets the happies in you. Yeah, I had too many episodes in my 20s, and I was like, I think all my friends at one point or another have seen me intoxicated, and I get all hyper and friendly, want to talk to everybody and bouncing around, like, Rod, just calm down a second, just chill, But yeah, it's another world though, man. I enjoy not having as much anxiety and stress. I already have enough with fighting with Rachel through her recovery that it just amplifies it whenever you are, So yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, it's been, I think Rachel actually mentioned it earlier today. She goes, how many days? I go to Google. I have a Google thing in the room to, hey, Google, you ask it questions. You know what I mean? I love that. And I was like, hey, Google, how many days has it been since October 8th, 2023? And
October 8th, 2023. 83 days ago.
You see? 83 days ago. I wasn't talking to just Google. Quiet.
Like having an autistic kid in your room that knows the dates of everything.
Doesn't it make parenting a little easier when you have the answer right there? You're like, I don't know, ask Google. You know what I mean?
Because you don't think that it's going to be used for like government control and all that later on.
I don't care what they find.
Someday they're going to be like, I don't know, this Rodney back in 2024, like 30 years ago, said this in his living room, and it was recorded on his Google. We can't trust him now.
Hey, as long as I'm not talking about taking out the president or anything weird, I think I should be good. I think it's pretty good. Omit that, Google. I didn't say that. I didn't.
I always have to throw that disclaimer.
Well, we have the private chat, and for those of you who want to come on and chat privately.
Can I just say something really quick?
In the vault. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Back to the drinking thing. If you have friends who drink a lot or whatever, and they pay the next day, just to throw it out there. I'm a big fruit person. I think that there's a fruit for everything. to hell with vegetables. Fruit is the way to go.
Yeah.
If you eat 2 prickly pears before you drink, prickly pears will process the alcohol before it gets to your liver, and then you're not hungover the next day.
Ooh, prickly. What is it? Prickly pears?
Yeah, prickly pears, the cactus fruit.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep.
Wow. Well, yeah, I give Rachel Asian pear that night, but it's prickly pears. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's not a real pear; it's a cactus fruit. But
Oh wow, yeah, it's a acetaldehyde. It took me a long time to remember that name, but that's the part of the process and that digests the alcohol, and it's crazy on how what it does to your body. Every part of your body gets altered, not just your mind, but your organs. It's water soluble and fat soluble, so it goes everywhere. I was like, man, I'm just destroying myself. I'm like, I have a lot of life left on earth that I want to experience that I haven't yet. I'm like, I want to live long enough and feel good about it. You don't want to be like 70, like, yeah, I still got things to do, but I'd rather just sit here and watch TV because my body hurts. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's hard to have the motivation to do anything whenever you're not feeling up for it. So I'm like, I'm going to try to do whatever I can to keep the ball rolling. And for those of you who want to come on to the broadcast, upcoming shows in 2024, Taft alumni, hit me up. I would love to have you on as guest to catch up and see what you're up to, share some laughs, reminisce, reconnect, and all that. Yada, 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 yada.
All the yada yadas.
Yada, 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 yada.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, we're going to transition into the private chat. Good talking to you, man. And we'll continue talking privately in the vaults. I got to whisper when I say that. I don't know why. It makes it more curious of what's going on in the vault.
Right.
Give a nod to the kids, man. When you see them, bring them on and jam with you one of these days. That'd be kind of interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'd love to. They live so far away now. It's hard to get them up. I actually
we could get them on a screen. Maybe we could do a triangle thing.
Oh yeah, we could do that. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be rad. See?
Yeah. You
That'd
mean
be
the
awesome
thing? I gotcha.
I wonder what the sound would look like with 2 people playing music at the same time in different locations to be able to keep it going. Oh, that'd be rad, huh?
Right. Yeah.
I'll knock out the harmonica or the triangle or something. I don't know what it's just. All right, brother, take us out, and I'm going to post the link to the private chat, and we'll go to the vault. Sounds good?
Right, sounds good.
All right, brother. Until next time, folks. We will see you next time. YeNDoR'S WiLDCaT Chat, Taft High Alumni Broadcast. Thank you for all the love and support. And make sure that you subscribe on YouTube. Don't forget, subscribe, hit the bell, and you will always be notified of our upcoming shows. Always love. Happy New Year, guys.